Services. Congresswoman, thanks so much for joining us here on Bloomberg. The government just reopened. Lawmakers are back to work, but it feels like that work is just beginning. I'd love to get your thoughts on if we are just careening towards the next government shutdown, as this stopgap measure only funds us through January 30th, and it feels like healthcare could be that pressure point again.
Well, I can tell you this, that my office has not stopped working since the government shut down. In fact, we've closed 100 cases, brought in millions of dollars back to our constituents. It's the Democrats who chose this chaos. Never before in the history of America has either party ever voted down a clean CR. Clean, with no partisan priorities. But Democrats wanted to put legislation discussion on the table and shut down our government, thus taking away food from families in need through SNAP, having mothers with children go without benefits, and, as you mentioned, federal employees on furlough not receiving paychecks, and putting a halt to government activities that affect everything from small businesses to the person who's applying for a Social Security card. It's simply unacceptable, and I'm glad the Democrats finally came to their senses.
Well, let's follow up a little bit more on this. You're in-house agriculture, and some states are saying that those families that need those food benefits aren't going to see their SNAP accounts replenished for the month of November for at least another couple of weeks. Do you think the administration should have put forth a plan to fully fund SNAP benefits if we knew that we were getting close to the shutdown?
Well, what we thought was that Democrats were going to act logically and work for the American people and vote yes on a clean CR. This is historic, that Democrats would put themselves first before the American people and shut down the government. It is them that caused these families that are so dependent on SNAP to not receive their benefits. In fact, what President Trump did was try to partially fund SNAP at the last moment because the Democrats kept kicking the ball forward and keeping the government shut. It's clearly unacceptable. And as you said, now it's going to take weeks, if not months, for the government to fully open. And unfortunately, some families will suffer because of the chaos that the Democrats caused. But I will tell you this. We are here in Washington, D.C. There are committees already working on the Hill to push these appropriation process forward so that we can get the bills passed before January 30th. I think we're all on the same page that that needs to be a priority, along with the credits, the enhanced premium credits that will sunset at the end of December. We all realize that this is important, and we're sitting at the table, both Republicans and Democrats, ready to tackle this issue.
It was the administration as well when it comes to SNAP benefits that went to the Supreme Court to compel a lower court to keep the administration from fully funding SNAP benefits. We've never heard of anything quite like that before, Congresswoman. Was that the right thing to do?
Well, we've never heard of Democrats voting no to a clean CR.
I know, but you've been talking about Democrats since you came on the air, Congresswoman. Was that the right thing for the administration to do, to not fund SNAP benefits and, in fact, go to court over this?
Well, I keep talking about Democrats because we would never even have this discussion if Democrats actually voted yes for a clean CR. So
okay, you've made that really clear. Should the administration have gone to the Supreme Court to not pay people who need food?
Well, I can tell you this, we would not even have this discussion if Democrats had done their job and voted yes on a clean CR, which historically they had never voted no to. In fact, they voted no 13 times to put those SNAP benefits as a priority for the American people and keep families fed. And it's unfortunate that they kept voting no. So we wouldn't even be having this discussion if they had done their job and voted yes on a clean CR.
But we are having this discussion. You're not going to answer that question?
Well, as I said, we would not have this discussion had Democrats voted for a clean CR. Absolutely historic and catastrophic that they would be that selfish to take food off of the table of needy families.
So the president should have gone to court then to block those SNAP benefits from being fulfilled.
So what should have happened is Democrats should have voted yes for a clean continuing resolution. That's what should have happened. And what ended up is the chaos that ensued over the last 6 weeks. Everything from federal employees not being paid, TSA employees not being paid. I mean, the list goes on and on. But as you noted, Democrats finally came to their senses yesterday and voted yes. Yes for the American people and yes to reopen this government. Now it's time for all of us to look forward and complete the appropriations process and look at the premium credits, enhanced premium credits that we need to discuss.
All right, Congresswoman, we'd love to keep the conversation going with you. Monica Dela Cruz, the Republican from Texas on Bloomberg, we thank you for joining us.